Welcome back to the Creatively Challenged podcast for Monday, May 7th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Dan Stewart. Sitting across from me is Mike Stuglis. Mike, how are you?
Good. A very enthusiastic intro there.
Here's the thing, okay? This is going to be a shorter episode, just so you listeners know. It's
that's the plan. We get off topic pretty easily.
Yeah, we hope for it to be shorter, but it's finals week, or it's about to be finals week. Summer's coming up. Mike and I have to move out of our apartment, and we didn't have a lot of time to go see a movie, but we did because we went and saw Infinity War twice. We saw Infinity War again, but we're not gonna review Infinity War a second time.
Score's the same.
Yeah, so we're just gonna throw together a show here. We'll run through some news. We'll do our underrated, overrated. We'll have a brief talking segment at the end, and then we're gonna get out of here.
That'll be a quick one.
Yeah. So for the uninitiated, this is a movie review podcast. Despite no movie review this week,
entertainment podcast.
This is an entertainment podcast. And we bring random topics to a $34 card table, and we just throw together a show every week. So let's roll into the news so we can hold true to our word and make this a shorter episode. All right, you wanna start out the news?
Well, you just watched this trailer a minute before we started the podcast.
This is true.
The Robin Hood trailer, which was released earlier this week, which is another telling of the famous Robin Hood story where he steals for the poor and stuff.
I don't know, maybe it'll be more original.
And it stars Taron Egerton, who you might know from the Kingsman movies, Jamie Dornan, who's in those stupid 50 Shades of Grey movies. Jamie Foxx is playing Big John, right? Or Little John, whatever.
Robin Hood and Little
John.
Little John.
And Ben Mendelsohn's playing the Sheriff Nottingham, who's the villain. And this movie looks generic. It really looks
trailer
generic.
just has the movie trailer music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the sound effects and everything like that. The trailer was just the movie trailer.
Yeah, it didn't look too good. And
told the whole movie in the
Well, everyone knows the story already, and it's do you really need to you don't need to tell this story anymore. It's a cool story, but there's been so many iterations of it. Russell Crowe's played him, Kevin Costner's played him. They had the animated version, which is actually my favorite.
Carrie Elwes, or the guy who was cast in Stranger Things Season 3, he and Richard Lewis were in a movie called Robin Hood Man in Tights back in the early 90s. Yeah.
But, I remember hearing about the casting for this, and when I heard Jamie Foxx's Little John, I was like, that is bizarre casting. In the trailer, it looks like he's playing Jamie Foxx. And the only thing that I thought sounded cool was Ben Mendelsohn as the sheriff, but I bet they make him super generic in this movie.
Well, Ben Mendelsohn's so good at playing a villain.
Yeah.
And they got him probably oh yeah, we got this guy who's really good at playing a villain, and it's probably going to be lame.
Yeah.
And what did Jimmy Fox did he do a fake British accent at all?
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either.
I don't feel the need to rewatch.
No, I don't want to. I hope we don't have to see this movie. I hope something else comes out that week.
I seriously remember though, Clint, who keeps getting referenced on this podcast.
It's all right, Clint's our friend.
Yeah, him and I were talking about it because he's about as big as movie buffs as we are, and him and I were talking about it originally when everything was coming together, and we're like, oh, this sounds really cool. The director's done some episodes of Peaky Blinders and Black Mirror, so we're like, oh, this could be interesting.
Yeah.
Guy transferring to the big screen, and it just looks really generic.
It looks studio
The only thing that
dominated.
looked cool was how he shoots his arrows. It's
really
and
then it's just but livening up action sequences don't make it a good movie.
Well, it kind of reminds me of The Dark Tower. Even though Dark Tower had good trailers, it's they showed all these flashy action sequences and the story was poo. So, yeah, it just looks, I think that's all we can say is it just looks generic. It's not that it looks like The Mummy or anything, but it just looks very by the beats.
The first half of the trailer, I'd say the first half of the trailer was actually decent. They're going with this, they show Taron Egerton like talking about Robin Hood like they were different people.
Yeah.
And they were going with this whole like, oh shit, well, who is Robin Hood? It could be like a mysterious actor like that they're not going to reveal until like the end of the movie. And then like the second half of the trailer, they show that it is Taron Egerton that is playing Robin Hood. And I know like it was already announced and everything like that, but like they could have handled it way differently.
Titled teaser trailer. The trailer probably should have stopped when he takes his hood off.
Yeah.
I would have been like, looks okay.
Yeah.
That would have been different. And then it just goes on, and it kind of just goes on too long for a trailer, and that makes you think the movie's going to be like that too. Pretty exhausting.
Yeah.
But we don't know. When did it say? Like
November.
November. Yeah. So Ben Mendelsohn's also shooting Captain Marvel right now. More excited for that one.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm way more excited for that. Now we're less than a year away from Avengers Infinity War Part 4. Well, Part 2 for Avengers Infinity War, but Part 4 for the Avengers. And less than a year away from Captain Marvel as well. So
yeah.
And we're less than a year away from Robin Hood, but who gives a shit?
So I think that's all we got to say on that. If you're interested in the Robin Hood trailer, this is another telling of it. If the trailer interests you, we didn't hype it too much, but check it out. Maybe you like it. I don't know. Leave a comment. Maybe we're wrong. Tell us we're stupid idiots. Yeah. What's next?
Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi has fans in this podcast. We're big Taika Waititi guys. He's the director of Thor Ragnarok, Boy, and What We Do in the Shadows, the film. But FX approached Taika Waititi, and they've ordered a series for him to adapt that movie into a show called What We Do in the Shadows. He's going to direct and executive produce, and knowing his work, he always puts himself as an actor into his work. He'll probably be reprising his role as, I don't remember his name in the movie, but it's so funny. What We Do in the Shadows is like a mockumentary of like vampires like as roommates in like the modern world, and Taika Waititi's in it, and
it's in New Zealand.
It's so funny, and like if you only know Taika Waititi from Thor Ragnarok so far, good, because Thor Ragnarok was amazing, and he's such a talented director, writer, and actor. Go back and watch his other work when he was still back at home in New Zealand, like Boy and What We Do in the Shadows. They're so funny, and I'm excited for his charisma and like comedy genius to go on to TV, because now we can get Taika Waititi like every week, which is amazing.
Yeah, and he will, I don't know if you said, he will direct and executive produce, and the guy who he also starred with named Jermaine Clement, who is another star in the movie. He's writing the show. So the core people from the movie, Korg, Thor Ragnarok, who he plays. The core group from the movie will be involved in this show. And I haven't seen it, but I'm really excited because this sounds a lot like Zombieland, where it's like satirical comedy. I was just I put this on the docket because of how much I like Taika Waititi. Not only his name being fantastic, but he has such a unique tone in his movies that's just like bizarro and really funny, and that's why Thor Ragnarok worked really well. You're like, is this really a movie right now?
Yeah.
With how absurd this is, and there's this big pile of rocks that's a character, and this just fits into that mold about making a comedy about vampires, which is definitely a genre that I think takes itself too seriously to begin with.
Oh, yeah. Like, people who are trying to, like, make a seriously, like, good vampire movie,
it can be done. It's just, it's been done.
Right. I think that, like, the last good I don't count Twilight. I think, like,
those are gay.
Yeah. I think the last good vampire movie was Francis Ford Coppola adapting Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1992. It had Winona Ryder. It had Gary Oldman as Dracula. It had Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ewells. Some other bitch.
Wow.
I could easily IMDb it.
Wow.
Hold on, let me do it.
I'm trying to think if Guillermo del Toro's done a vampire movie, but I don't think he has. Oh, no, that's right. He wrote The Strain, that show. And that definitely looked like a show that took itself too serious. Also an FX show.
Anthony Hopkins played Van Helsing in that movie.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was like, who Tom Waits played Renfield. Yeah, it was decent. Like people were kind of calling it like Coppola's like comeback because he hadn't really done, like that good between The Godfather and this Dracula movie, and it just really wasn't his comeback at all. Because after that, he didn't really do anything.
It's called Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was about Taika Waititi, and we're both excited. It's going to be a
Taika
funny
Waititi
FX show.
is about to make like the vampires like cool again. So
Well, FX already has the movies, but it also has It's Always Sunny, Archer, Baskets, Louie.
not Louis anymore.
They did.
They did.
Is my
Louis,
point.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got comedies and dramas.
Justified.
No, like that's what I'm saying. Just in their terms of their comedies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their shows in general, they have a bunch. Fargo.
Justify won the Kentucky Derby yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't put money on it, but Justify was the favorite. You would have made like $25 if you put $1 down. So.
No, my dad had Magnum Moon, who did not win.
No. I wanted Bolt d'Oro to win, and Bolt d'Oro didn't win, so I'm glad I didn't put money down. But on the earlier race, there were like 39-1 odds on Ugly Duck or fucking.
I doubt
there
his name was Ugly Fuck.
No. It was some horse named after a duck, and he had 39-1 odds, and I kind of wish I put money on
that
him.
one. The
Yeah.
one we were watching, and you
Yeah.
and Matt got really excited.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, Stuffy Duck or fucking Duck.
Fucking Duck.
Fucking Duck.
Is that all we got on
Donald Duck? Yeah, Taika
Taika.
Waititi is hilarious. We're huge fans of his. If you want to know more about what we do in the shadows, go watch the movie. It's really funny, and watch Thor Ragnarok again. Maybe I don't know.
I'll do that.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I'll do that.
And then watch Boy. But Taika Waititi's coming to TV. That's exciting. American TV.
Yes.
So.
To stay in the realm of television for our final news topic, Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight says that he has plans for seasons 5, 6, and 7. Originally, before season 4 launched on Netflix in December, he said that he had plans to wrap after season 5, but now he's saying he has 3 more seasons in store, and this is fantastic news. Because what's great about this show is its seasons are almost like little vignettes.
Yeah.
To where it tells a period in time for the Shelbys, and then it like skips 2 years because business is good and they get their shit together. And then whenever there's like a threat, they tell the story of the Shelbys. And it works really well because they only do these 6-episode seasons, and you're not stretching it too long because the stories are always really tight. And Stephen Knight said he wants to end the show around the time of World War II. Well, right now, I think after season 4, they're in like 1929, so they still got some time to play with, and this totally fits that timeline.
Yeah.
If he's sticking to it.
Yeah. This show's incredible. If you haven't watched it on Netflix, I highly recommend it. I haven't finished up through season 4 yet. Mike had already watched it, and I started it, flew through the first 2 seasons in like a week, and then I haven't watched it in about a week. I got to get back into it because this show is incredible, and that's something I love about BBC, because that and like Sherlock Holmes, they just do quick seasons. They're just like Sherlock Holmes has 3 seasons of 3 episodes apiece.
Right.
And I mean, each episode is like an hour and a half.
I think they did a special once too.
Yeah.
Like of a one night thing, and then it's just always really quick.
And they just know how to tell a story from start to finish. And Peaky Blinders is another example of that. Just a job well done of BBC shows over here. they're just quick, and I'm glad that there's going to be more story because this is such an incredible show. I mean, there's nothing better than putting on an Irish walking cap and drinking whiskey while watching this show. It's a great show. I'm glad that it's getting more seasons because it would fit the plan. And if I don't know how the next two seasons goes, but like they do that skip a couple years or whatever. Those last three seasons could be like a marathon though. They might do like back to back. They might not even skip because
Yeah,
Britain gets involved in World War II a lot earlier than
right.
America does. So
Yeah,
they've got the whole 30s to kind of get into wartime and
yeah, and not to spoil, but season 4 starts really develop it. See, it kind of had it in season 1 with communism, and that season 4 brings it back a little bit to the forefront, and I think that's because it's going to be in like seasons to come with like the political attitudes towards it.
well, and spoiler kind of I guess the a lot of PTSD from World War I for several characters.
Yeah.
The I mean the Shelby clan, the older boys fought in the war, and they have a bunch of friends who also fought in World War I, and they kind of struggle with that. So like I'm curious to see how that goes forward to get into World War II when the later seasons get there.
Definitely see if they go back or not, but they'll probably be, older men by that point.
Yeah.
You figure Arthur's probably 40 in his 40s. Tommy's probably in his late 30s. And John's the young one. He's in his like late 20s.
Yeah.
Ish.
Arthur should be dead.
Arthur's awesome. But this excites me too because this movie the show gets so many great stars, and I'm just curious to see who keeps joining going forward.
I like Sam Neill.
Sam Neill was great.
Mr. Shelby.
Tom Hardy, Adrian Brody. Yeah, I'm just curious. They keep getting these like Oscar nominated, Oscar
And Baelish.
capable. Baelish joins from Game of Thrones. Yeah, and I'm just curious to see who they keep getting. It's gonna be really exciting. Like I'd love to see like Cumberbatch thrown in there or
That'd be
something like
cool.
that because he's a British actor.
Yeah.
So
That would definitely be cool. I want to see Ewan McGregor.
he'd be really cool.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Charles Dance, I've always wanted who plays Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. He has really big political presence, and I think he'd be a cool like politician in the show. So we'll see. There's a lot of theorizing to do, but it's great that there's 3 more seasons in the works now because I can live with knowing that season 5 won't be the last one.
It's a great show. Go check it out if you haven't already. Let's move on. That's news. We're still trying to roll through an episode. Mike and I already went off on a few anecdotes. But we're doing a recurring topic. Underrated, overrateds are back. We both made lists of divisive or could be divisive or they're not divisive at all. Topics that we're gonna call underrated, overrated. So let's get into it. We can go back and forth, and if I have more than you, then I.
How
can
many
just
do you have? I
continue.
have 5.
I have 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Then we'll try to shorten them up.
Yeah. All right. Cereal.
Just
Underrated,
in
overrated?
general?
Just overall cereal. Just cereal as a breakfast meal.
Overrated. There's too many. But like the core ones that you like, it's necessary. But there's too many cereals.
I
Fruity
think
Pebbles and
Yeah.
all those. Too many.
I also think cereal's overrated. I mean, like, I feel like cereal's just kind of reached its limit, you know? Like,
We don't need any more.
no, like, we're good
The
on
market's
cereal. Yeah. And, I mean, just, you stick with your guns. Like, nobody tries new cereals. Like, you know what you like. So that's what you're going to have. Like, I'm never going to try, like, a new cereal ever because I'm stuck on the Frosted Flakes,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love them. They're so good. So, but, just cereal overall is overrated.
Yeah, there's just too many.
Frosted Flakes are not.
You stick to you stick to your guns, like you said.
Yeah. You want to? You
Oh,
want me to rule out?
C-3PO, Star Wars character.
I think C-3PO is underrated because I think he gets a bad rap. Like, yeah, he's a lame character and he never shuts up. But like him and R2 are like the dynamic duo of Star Wars. Like they're probably like other than Vader, like the two most iconic like Star Wars characters, and they've made an appearance in every movie. I don't know how they make an appearance in Solo.
They won't.
They won't.
There's no way.
So that'll be the first Star Wars movie without 3PO and R2.
Where did they show up in Rogue One?
They were at
beginning?
Yavin 4. No, they were at Yavin 4.
Yavin 4,
at the
that's
end.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way they're in Solo.
They can't be.
C-3PO sucks. He's overrated. He's necessary to the story, 100%. He's R2's partner in crime. But he stinks. He's always fucking negative. He's always fucking with Han, and I don't like it. He's always making stupid comments, and he's not funny. And 3PO sucks, even though I realize that he's necessary. I have never once been happy that 3PO's on screen.
Chewie, plug the professor into the hyperdrive and find out what's wrong with it.
They like try to use him as slapstick comedy too, and he's just not. He stinks.
Yeah.
He stinks. But I like to hate him. That's like this energy that I have towards 3PO. Like, I can't imagine Star Wars without him.
Right. Like,
but
he's necessary.
I hate him.
I like how they kind of turned him into a joke in like 7 and 8. Like, when in The Last Jedi, spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen it, go see it. Why haven't you seen it yet? We're like just at the end with Luke and 3PO, and 3PO goes, "Master Luke," and Luke just winks at him. Like, I have no words for you.
No, you're not worth the energy.
All right, next one, granola bars. I was clearly thinking breakfast here.
I'm going overrated again. I like the fiber bar more. That's why. I think they taste better, and they actually, I know what if I eat a fiber bar in the morning, I'm going to like crap my brains out at night, and that's kind of the purpose. I almost use them as a laxative for later in the day, like a plan. Granola bars, they're not worth it for me. I'd rather have a bowl of cereal.
See, I think granola bars are underrated because, like, they're the kind of food that when you open the cabinets and you tell your mom there's nothing to eat, but there's like a shitload of granola bars in there, and like those chewy granola bars are amazing, and they're a quick on the go thing, and they taste good.
Okay.
And the thing about them though is like they're expensive. Like, I mean, the Nature Valley granola bars, like, they gotta get all fancy, and they have to have, like, almonds and dark chocolate.
Kind of another thing where the market's tapped.
Yeah. It's like, there are enough granola bars. And granola bars are good, but, there's something to eat.
Yeah, I don't like them because, I don't dislike them, I mean, they taste good, but because I prioritize the fiber bar and the Cliff Bar over them.
No.
Cliff Bars are very fucking dense, though. I mean, talk about putting a brick in your stomach.
They are. It's like literally, it's like eating a brick.
Yeah.
You open the pack, it's just a mound of shit, and then it turns into a mound of shit.
Yeah. All right. So my next one, sticking to Star Wars, because we were watching Star Wars yesterday, May the 4th.
Empire, May the 4th.
Well, you watched Return.
2 days ago was May the 4th.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Revenge of the 5th. I refuse to call it Cinco de Mayo. It was Revenge of the 5th yesterday, and today is May 6th. It's my mom's birthday today. Well, yesterday. You're listening to this show on Monday, May 7th. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. Today's my mom's birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mary Pat. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I got Lando Calrissian on here.
Ooh.
And Lando, I think, is the most underrated Star Wars character.
I agree, but there's a lot of
he's a very divisive character.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's just a scoundrel like Han is. He's not as much of a hero as Han is, but he redeems himself in the 6th episode. You talk about when people talk about character redemptions, they never talk about Lando. Lando fucks over Han and everybody, and then he still helps him out at the end of the movie, gets him out of Cloud City safely. And then he finds Han, they free him, and at the end of the movie, him in the end, they'll blow up the Death Star. He 100% redeems himself.
You want to know what episode 7 and 8 are missing that I really hope?
Lando? Yeah.
Honestly, I've been upset so far
General Calrissian.
through two movies that I haven't seen Lando. Because Lando's a general. Like the last we saw him, and I know like the old gang broke up after between episode 6 and 7, but like I want to see Lando, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like Billy D. Williams or not, but Billy D. Williams still does a shitload of voice work for Lando for like video games and TV shows for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised he hasn't been in the films. And they introduced characters like Rose Tico.
Yeah.
Bring back Lando. I'm
Right.
so excited for Donald Glover's performance as Lando and Solo in a few weeks. And yeah, Lando is definitely a very underrated character. He's the man. And like there's so much behind him. So I hope like Donald Glover just kind of like puts it to the max. I'm excited to see more Lando, and I want to see Billy D. Williams come back in episode 9.
Yeah, he's awesome. And that whole just the I think his introduction's so cool.
You got a lot of guts coming back here
Yeah,
after what you pulled.
And it's kind of like his arc in the movie too. Like at first he's a dick, and then he hugs Han. He's like, "How you doing?" And it's kind of like what happens. He fucks him over, and then he saves him at the end.
You old pirate?
Yeah, yeah,
How you doing, Chewbacca?
yeah. He's the man.
Yeah, I love Lando.
So I would say he's like one of the more underrated Star Wars characters.
All right, Jello.
Jello. Like why? You know, like no one's like, I'm gonna have Jello. If it's present, yeah, it's fun to like eat, but no one ever craves Jello. Like who goes out and buys those like Jello like pudding packages? You know, I'm talking about the same things that pudding come in.
Yeah.
Like they have the Jello ones. Like who's like, I'm craving a Jello right now. Jello's overrated. What's the point?
I think Jello's just lived its life.
Yeah.
Like Jello
You
was
have it,
like
like,
this
3
new
times and
Jello
you're-
was like this new cool thing in the 50s. It was like the food of the future. And yeah, it's just
It all tastes the same.
yeah, it's just lame. I don't know. Not a big Jello guy. I kind of like the Jello pineapple rings, but you add like pineapple into or you just Jellify the pineapple. So
Yeah.
yeah, not a big Jello guy. I think Jello's overrated. Jello's lived its life.
How you doing, Chewbacca?
How you doing, Chewbacca?
So Jello, we're both going overrated.
Yeah, I deleted a few of mine so we can get through this.
My next one is Legos.
Legos. Wow.
I'd say when we were kids, they were the shit. But nowadays, I think there's too many. They're just making them for movies like at will. Whenever I'm seeing them at stores, it's just like that movie doesn't deserve Legos.
I think Legos have grown overrated because like everything's got to be Lego nowadays. Like Lego's got to do everything. But I feel like Legos like it's just like this novelty like now. Like I feel like kids aren't buying like Lego sets anymore. I feel like they're just buying like the Lego video games, or like Lego sells like action figures to where like they're like already like they're like pre-built Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the name Lego has just gotten way too big.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
They're kind of overrated, even though I had so much fun with them as a kid.
I know, and there's just too much. Like I was never a big Lego kid. I mean, but every kid had like a Lego set. The one I had was like Harry and Buckbeak and Hermione breaking Sirius out of the prison tower in Prisoner of Azkaban, and that me and my mom spent a whole like day building that because it was a pain.
Yeah.
But Lego Star Wars video game is amazing.
It's an all-timer.
In terms of the Star Wars universe, the only way where collectively the prequels are better than the sequels is it the Lego Star Wars video games.
Yeah.
Like the Lego Star Wars prequels are better than the Lego
Well,
Star Wars
it's
sequels.
because those movies were kind of made for toys, you know?
Yeah.
General Grievous, Maul, that's all fun kid attraction.
Yeah, and that game is great. They've even ruined the Lego games because the Lego games used to be so much fun. Now they have a Lego Force Awakens like by itself. They're probably gonna have a Lego Last Jedi, but I don't know if they did. But they do the trilogy. That's what you're supposed to do. And now the Lego games, like they talk. They just throw like the
Yeah, I
movie
don't like
clips
it.
in there. And now they have the Lego Marvel superheroes. The first Lego Marvel superheroes was awesome.
Yeah.
But now they have Lego Marvel superheroes too, where they're just throwing the movie clips and Thanos is there and
Really?
yeah.
Well,
Overrated.
then yeah, if we're including video games, way overrated now are the Legos.
But they used to not be. They used to be incredible, and now they're Lego is just cash cowing to the max and just selling whatever they can with the Lego name on it. It's kind of unfortunate.
Our goal was a half hour. What are we at? A half hour?
We're at a half hour now.
Yeah.
Louisiana hot sauce.
My God. I really do like it. But I can think of so many brands that are better. Like I've had a life of Louisiana, but it's really potent.
Yeah.
And you got to be in the mood for it. Man, we're negative today. We're heavy on the overrated.
Well, that's okay.
I do like it too, but it's just not. It's not the best.
See, I don't like Louisiana at all. I think it's just pure heat. I don't even think there's a flavor to it. I think it just provides heat compared to other hot sauces like Tabasco and Cholula. Like if we're just talking the
Frank's.
breakfast table,
Frank's
and
is the king.
And then we go to like wing sauces and Frank's and and Sweet Baby Ray's is a wing sauce. Like there are just way better sauces that have flavor. Like Louisiana is just heat, and I don't like it. I think it's overrated.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. My next one is Oklahoma City Thunder point guard Russell Westbrook, who recently just lost in the first round of the playoffs again with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony as his supporting cast. And he previously had Kevin Durant, who has left the Thunder and gone on to win a championship on the Golden State Warriors. I love Russell. He is my favorite NBA player. But it really shows in the playoffs that his play style is not built to win. So he's kind of runs into that thing where in the regular season he's fantastic, and in the postseason his play style doesn't translate, and he's kind of overrated.
Well, he's not overrated as a player. He's an amazing player, and he's an amazing athlete. Now, as a teammate and as a leader,
yeah,
way overrated. I think he's a terrible teammate and a terrible leader, and it's showing negatively to his teams. Clearly, like if you go back to the KD Russ feud, clearly a lot of it had to do with Russ. I mean, KD kind of did like the cowardly thing at the time to go play with Golden State, and they won a championship, but KD seems like a good teammate. He seems like a stand-up guy, and I mean Russell's a brutally honest individual, but he seems like an asshole.
Like in their game 6, they lost to the Jazz. He took 43 shots.
Yeah.
When you have, I get like Melo and George did not show up in that game either, but if you're taking that many shots, you're not allowing them to get into a rhythm either. He is entertaining as fuck, and I love him, but he's not a great teammate.
Here's the thing. I was going to say, like, oh, look at Michael Jordan from 1987, where Jordan almost averaged 40 points a game, and he led the Bulls in, like, all categories. He won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP that year. Russell's playing at that level, but I was just like, oh, but Jordan didn't have his teammates yet. Wait, maybe if Russell got the teammates, he had the teammates. He had James Harden and Kevin Durant on the same team, and Serge Ibaka, and then he had Melo and Paul George this year, now Steven Adams with that. Paul George is gone. Melo is probably content with staying there, but they're going to pay him, and he's going to demand to stay in the starting lineup. He's not going to take a bench role, but I feel like nobody wants to go to OKC because of him.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He's 30. He's going to be 30 next year. And it just shows he's only been to one finals.
Yeah, and look at what Victor Oladipo's done just by being his teammate. And Victor Oladipo's doing that with the Pacers, but he seems like a better teammate.
I think the Pacers would have beat Oklahoma City in like a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have beat Cleveland in a 7-game series.
Yeah. LeBron's balling out, though. Even though we hate him, my God, he is playing great.
Yeah, he's great. Google Docs.
Google Docs. Yeah. Underrated.
Yeah.
It's so useful. It's like the social media of Of like what would be the term?
Of school.
Of school, social media of school.
You,
Yeah.
you want to know what Google Docs does? You want to know what the power of Google Docs is?
You don't have to meet with
You
your
don't have to
stupid
fucking
partners.
meet with anybody. Here's the thing in college, folks. When you're 21 years old and your professor makes you work with other people and they force you to do group projects, like what are you 7?
Right.
I mean, like, collaboration work is great, but it's just like at this point in time, like, it stinks when somebody else you have to your grade relies on somebody else. I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But with Google Docs, you never have to meet with anybody, and you can all just work on the project remotely. You let each other know with the little messages, and you can do the project without meeting anybody. Just did it. Got an A on a final project with these two girls. We've done 2 group projects. Me and these 2 girls did 2 group projects this semester, and I don't know them. I've never met them. We just, through Google Docs, we completed 2 assignments. It's incredible.
It's
Yeah, underrated.
My last one is notorious Harry Potter character James Potter, the
Ooh.
father of Harry. I'll let you go first on this.
Overrated. James Potter's a dick.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't feel
like,
bad for him.
No, and I've read through this series like so many times, and like every time, like I just reassure myself that, I mean, yeah, he was a kid, he messed up with all the stuff that he did, like to Severus, but like I don't really feel anything for him. I feel for him for like Harry's sake, like I mean, Harry lost his father, and Harry's a kind individual, but like his dad is not.
Lily is where the symptom comes from.
Right.
And more so, Lily, not James, but through Sirius and Remus as well.
Yeah.
It's like James's spirit does not live on. His spirit lives on through his friends who are great people, but he wasn't.
Yeah, well, and like Sirius and Remus like talk him up to Harry, which is fine, and but they were friends. Like they're a little biased, and like Remus is a calm. You want to believe Remus more, but like Sirius is a hothead as well, and like has shown like to be a brat and stuff like that. So like James Potter, I think is overrated. I don't really like him.
No.
At all, and I think he's a dick. And if you disagree with me, go back and read the Potter books, because there's not that much about James Potter that's good.
He's the one that made Snape like a recluse.
Yeah.
He bullied somebody that badly
Mm-hmm.
that kind of led him towards like the Death Eaters and stuff like that. He's a dick.
Yeah.
He's a dick. Just sad because Sirius and Remus are like top 5 Potter characters for me.
Oh yeah, Remus is like top 3. Yeah. I think he's great. I think my top 3 characters are Harry, Severus, and Remus, in terms of like affecting the plot and like how cool they are. I mean, like
that could be a whole top 5 in itself.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
We could do that. I say we save that for when Fantastic Beasts comes around.
All right, look for that in November when we do our top 5 Harry Potter characters. All right, margaritas.
I love margaritas.
Yeah.
I can't say they're underrated because people love them, but they're definitely not overrated. There's so many different flavors. They appease everybody. You can get them frozen or on the rocks. I mean, they're great. I'm a big fan.
I think overall, in like cultural senses, I think they're underrated. I feel like they're not as like universally loved. I feel like some people are like hesitant to get margaritas.
Yeah, I guess because they're really heavy. I don't know why. They're like one of my favorite things to get when
I mean, like, yeah, like I love going out to go get a beer. Like I love going to, go get drinks with friends. But like going to get margaritas is
it's dope.
It's one of my favorite things to do. I love it.
Yeah.
Getting margaritas after a long day of class or work, and you just go sit down, get some like nachos.
Oh yeah! It's not just you get a mar.
It's the experience
you get entrees
of getting
with them
margaritas.
too. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man, they're great.
So we're going underrated.
Oh yeah.
Even though I'd say they're generally popular. They're so awesome.
But we got margaritas like 2 or 3 times this semester. I wish we had gotten it more.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
like going out, I'd choose like getting margaritas, probably like 7 times out of 10.
It's a great pregame,
Yeah.
too. Even though you got to recover.
You should probably get. I mean, either way, margaritas are heavy. But like, if you're gonna go out like after you get margaritas, you should probably not get the frozen ones. The frozen ones will sit with you.
But they're delicious.
They're amazing. Yeah, I like frozen strawberry.
Do you have any more? Or was that the last
One more. Canada.
I've been to Canada. It's awesome.
Canada's fantastic.
Yeah, I've only fished there. Well, I've been to Niagara too. I want to go back. Like it's beautiful. People are really nice. But yeah, Canada's dope. Their gun laws are stupid, but besides that, I'm a fan.
I haven't been to the Canadian wilderness. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Niagara Falls up there. And I love Canada.
It's beautiful.
Hockey comes from Canada. And
That's right.
Hockey is an amazing sport. And like I like Canada. They're a great hat. They're nice. They're nice up there. I like having Canada up there.
The one thing that sucks about Canada is Drake.
Yeah, and the Raptors. They're a sorry ass fucking team.
One seed's gonna get swept by Cleveland,
Not necessarily Cleveland, but King.
but by LeBron. Although Kevin Love had like 21 and 18 yesterday.
Yeah, he did well. Yeah.
I don't want to get on a LeBron rant because that going down that path will do that.
He's a king.
But Drake stinks. Toronto, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're from Canada.
Yeah, I don't like Drake.
Imitator. Anyway, so that's it?
That's our underrated, overrated. Mike and I were trying to fly through them. We rambled through them. So let us know. Leave us a 5-star review. We're 5-star men. Let us know any of the underrated, overrated topics that we talked about. Let us know what you think, whether they're underrated or overrated, or if you have any more that you want to hear us talk about, or a different topic that you want to hear us talk about in the future. Let us know in our comments on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes. Yeah. So let's move on. We're wrapping up the show a little bit. We're also wrapping up the semester with a lot of things going on. We have a few things that we want to talk about. Let's
What would you rather do first?
let's get our Avengers hangover topic out of the way before we can just kind of wrap, because the other point, like summer plan and stuff like that, that's more of a wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's run through real quick. Since the movie we did see this week was Avengers again, well, let's just try and ramble through it, because now that more people have seen it, we can kind of like get into what might happen next. We're not going to do any spoilers again. We're just going to talk about like who might direct the movies afterwards, because we know there are more Marvel superhero movies after Avengers 4. So we're just going to kind of talk about where the direction of the universe is going briefly.
So I actually have a couple things. So what I put down was who should direct the next Avengers film, because I don't care what anyone says, this is wrapping up a certain phase, but they're not going to stop making these Marvel movies, thankfully. They're amazing, and I hope they keep expanding this universe. And that begs the question of when will the next Avengers film be after the fourth one, which is next year, 2019. I'm guessing we'll see it somewhere around 2022. That's my guess. And by that point, I'm thinking we'll have... Well, actually, I'm not going to talk about characters. So I'm not going to go down that road. But I was thinking who I'd want to see direct the next Avengers film to follow. And I have a few names that come to mind. My dream one is Spielberg. It's not going to happen, but that's the dream one. The king of blockbusters. I'd love to just see him give him all the money in the world to do the biggest movie of all time. And he'd probably deliver.
Yeah.
So he
But
would
he
be
seems to be one of the ones that is against superhero movies, even though he's a huge like sci-fi
well, he's doing
weird guy.
a DC movie.
Is he?
I don't know which one, but he said he like signed on to do one, and I hope that falls through and Marvel gets him. So he would be my dream one. But then there's three that come to mind. One is James Gunn, who's directed the Guardians movies, and he executive produced Infinity War. So I think his paws are pretty deep into Marvel, and they love him. And as it shows, as it showed in Thor Ragnarok and Ant-Man kind of adopted it, his style of comedy, a lot of the Marvel movies are getting into, and I think
Yeah.
that's why he's such an integral
Well,
piece.
I think he might have like directed the Guardians parts in Infinity
He,
War.
him and they said that him and Taika Waititi were like asked a lot about certain like their movies to like what they should attribute to make it feel like that. So
Yeah.
that's why it felt so much like the Guardians when they
Yeah.
were on screen because James Gunn was an executive producer, so he definitely oversaw that.
Right.
So he's one of them, but I tend to think he might just stay on as a producer and overseer. My second one is Taika Waititi.
He's like my one and only.
Yeah.
I mean, like him and James Gunn, like I agree with you completely. Like those two guys, they're so talented, they're so funny, and they bring the comic books to life. I mean, they've really done a great job at capturing the characters, capturing what kind of environments they're in, and you know, making a comic book movie hilarious and heartfelt all at the same time. They're just both really talented writers, directors.
Yeah, the best part about Thor Ragnarok and what the first two missed was the battles felt like they were between gods and larger than life figures, and he would deliver that in full in an Avengers movie. I
Yeah.
mean, he did it with Thor and Hela and Loki, Heimdall. I mean, take your pick. Korg, Hulk. They were all had these great action sequences. I can't wait to see what he'd do with someone like, I don't know, pick a number, Black Panther, or just any Avenger. It would
Yeah.
He'd do some really cool shit, and he gives a villain a presence, which we don't know who will be going forward, but I'm sure he'd be great at that. So he's another one. And my last one is Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther, and more so because the Black Panther fight sequences were fantastic, but it had the social overtones, which I'd love to see come back again. Actually, I think Infinity War had some as well.
Yeah.
But I think he'd bring that to the forefront. And the best thing he did about Black Panther was the amount of stars he had on screen and how he was able to balance that. And that's what you need when you're doing an Avengers movie. So he's actually my number one.
I think that the way he directs a film, the way he balanced hero and villain, while also, you know, building an environment behind them, I think he's incredible. And the films that he's done, clearly, like he's an accomplished director, not doing superhero movies and doing Black
Right.
Panther. Like I want to see him go forward with more Black Panther, and if that means the Avengers as well, then yeah, I'm totally down. I mean, those three guys right there, I want them to be the future of Marvel. Since the Russo brothers are probably done.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
We totally forgot to mention that. That's why we
Right,
brought
the
this
Uso
up.
brothers are probably done, and you know I want to see those guys moving forward because their movies have dominated the last year in Marvel leading up to Infinity War. So they're very talented. I'd like to see them work going forward.
Yeah. So we obviously don't know, but I'd love to see those guys continue to be involved because I bring this up because, before we didn't know the Russo brothers were going to be the Avengers guys, before they just directed Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War. And then it's like, hey, these guys are also doing Infinity War. That's why I bring up these guys because that has the potential of happening as well.
And Joss Whedon did the first two Avengers movies, and the first Avengers is great. The second Avengers is not so much. So I'm kind of glad that, and despite Joss Whedon being able to direct that many heroes at the same time, I feel like, the Russo brothers have hit the peak at which you can get as many heroes as you can on one screen and tell a great dramatic story.
What I feel about Joss Whedon is kind of how I feel about J.J. Abrams, to where they are a safe pick to get the job done.
Yeah.
And I don't think Joss Whedon's coming back, which I really don't want. He had his two Avengers movies. First one's one of my favorites. Second one, it's okay. But yeah, it's kind of like you could tell he plateaued a bit and he really didn't know where to go from in the second one, and it repeated a lot of the same beats as
Yeah.
the first one, and that's why I'm kind of like I don't need to see him come back. He was also involved in Justice League.
Well, and he given the chance to direct a new villain in Ultron, like he kind of didn't do well with that.
No, he's kind of Loki. He's kind of lucky. Loki was already developed when he
Right.
got him.
That's what I mean. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like Loki was already an established character. Like all he had to do was just say like, "Hey, be evil." With Ultron, he had to like create his own villain, and I mean one that existed in comic books before that, but on screen, like you had James Spader voicing him, and he just wasn't that.
If it wasn't Spader voicing him, I think Ultron would be considered like a bad villain.
Yeah.
And like you said, kind of middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So, but for an Avengers villain, you need a great one.
Yeah.
That's why the first one in Infinity War worked so well.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of I think that'll be our last Avengers conversation until we see Ant-Man. Hang it up for a little bit because it's been like 3 straight weeks. But
unless like casting news or directorial news comes out about it, then
right.
Whatever. You can't predict the news. But let's wrap up the show a little bit. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's finals week, and are you busy this week? What do you got going on this week?
I have a final on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only one I really have to worry about is the one on Friday. So I got a pretty
on Friday?
7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
But yours is 8:30.
Mine is
so we're gonna...
mine originally was at 7:30, and then my teacher's like, "I'm doing you guys a favor and pushing it back to 8." I was just like, yeah, thanks.
Either way, we're getting out at like the same time and then hitting the road. I would have the car packed like the night before so we can just bum out of here.
I work at the newspaper on Thursday night, but I can pack beforehand.
Well, regardless, I mean, we'll get it done, but yeah, it's not too much of a crazy week. One, I don't give a shit.
No.
My semester's been really manageable for the most part, and these finals are as well. I just got to review some stuff. One of my finals, the one on Thursday, is kind of a joke. I only have to do a couple readings in advance for it, and that's it. My teacher doesn't take them too seriously. The one on Tuesday is a blow-off class. The one on Friday is going to be difficult, but I have a week to study for it. So.
I got one more paper and one more test, and that's the one on Friday at 8 a.m. I mean, I've got stuff I got to do today, but I'm good to go. And summer's about to come in. Our summer plans consist of Creatively Challenged. We're going to bring this podcast to you over the summer. We want to keep up the weekly thing going and getting the shows out there and seeing a movie every week. But what are your individual plans for summer?
Well, I'm going back to work at the Nooner's place.
Twist and
seal or construction, wherever they got me.
Yeah.
And then I will be in Wisconsin for a little bit, and then we're going to Vegas in July. But other than that, I'm kind of just working and taking it easy until next school year, because I'm kind of tired of school.
Incredibly tired of school, but, things just keep on going. Summer doesn't seem like too busy. Internships and whatnot, and Vegas, like the summer's gonna kind of culminate with Vegas,
right?
And that's what I'm really excited for. And we both turned 21 this summer, so this is great.
Yeah, and we've never drank before.
No,
I can't wait to drink a beer for the first time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm so excited, and. That's it. I just feel like I'm rambling now. I don't want to fake myself out of this podcast.
No.
Here's the thing. We said we wanted to do a half hour, and now we're at 50 minutes, so...
It's not a surprise.
No. So, it's
not too over. At least it's not over an hour.
No, right. And the summer's approaching. We've got finals that we got to work towards, and, we still wanted to do this podcast despite not seeing a movie, but, it's good that you get to hear our voices every week.
There's nothing to see anyway.
No.
So, I don't know. I feel like we're just kind of meandering again until we see Deadpool, Solo, and then the summer's in full effect with its movies.
Right. So next week we'll try and throw something together, but it'll probably be another episode
Yeah, we
like
gotta
this.
travel. And
Yeah, we got a
shit.
travel day and
Getting
everything
home,
like
settled.
that. So we'll bring that to you guys when we have it. But you got any last words before we leave?
No, thanks for listening. Go see Infinity War 3, 4, 5 times. Give the movie as much money as possible because it's fantastic.
Yep. But that wraps it up for this week. If you guys could go on to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. You can comment on what we've got there with a 5-star review because we're 5-star men. Check us out on SoundCloud. You can listen to us there on YouTube. You can listen to a video version of our podcast. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Give us likes on those. Respond to us on those. We love to read your comments. We got some feedback last week for our Avengers episode, which was awesome. We love to see you guys comment on our stuff, so continue to do that. That's great. We want to continue to do this show for you guys, so to get some feedback would be great. Not sure about a movie next week. We told you our plans. We love you guys, and thank you for listening.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Blue, 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 blue. Yeah, blah, blee, blee, blee.